everyone, and welcome back to my channel for another Sims 4 speed build. Today I have this really cool modern farmhouse for you guys. At least that's what I'm calling it. And it's a big family home based off of a photo I found when I was scrolling through an architectural website. And I was immediately drawn to this house because of the really eye-catching black and white exterior. It is a real house that I posted some pictures of on my Instagram, which is also ErikaBuilds, if you want to go check that out. And so I really wanted to try to duplicate this house at least as close as I could. I really love this trend, you know, with sort of, I mean, they kind of look like farmhouses, even though most of these are just located in like suburban neighborhoods, but they kind of have that farmhouse feel to them. And I really love that, especially when it's been modernized with a lot of, you know, like industrial interiors. I just think that's really awesome. So when I was looking through the pictures of the real house and I saw the inside, I was just blown away. Of course, pretty much impossible to duplicate the interior because the things they were using we do not have in the game. But at least I think I kind of got the feel for it. The interior is very sort of modern, traditional. It's got a modern sort of vibe, but I think the furnishings themselves are traditional. So mostly just in like the color scheme, I guess I would consider it modern. But anyway, before we get into the interior, I just want to point out a couple things here on the exterior. Number one, when I decided to go with seasons for the windows, I knew before I even started building the house at all that I was gonna need 3 squares pretty much for all the windows across the front, which is kind of difficult to work with because, you know, in the Sims, we can't put a 2 square window over a 3 square window. So if you have like a 3 square window on the first floor, you can't put a 2 square window on the second floor. So I did have some issues with duplicating the exact look of the house since I was forced to keep the windows all the same. I don't know if this makes sense, but when you look at the front of the house, I think you'll be able to tell that I had to kind of stick with the same number on each floor. But anyway, now we're inside, so we can talk a little bit more about the interior. So this house is in Windenburg, I'm sure you've noticed. It's a 40 by 30, and this lot is called Korenberg Cottage. It's the Munch family that lives here, but I've demolished their house, so I'm building it, you know, for them. They're gonna live here, I guess. And it has 6 bedrooms and 5 bathrooms. Plus, there's a large playroom and a huge bonus room because this house is gigantic. That's one thing about duplicating real life houses is by the time you finish, you know, the outside and everything looks right, then you get to the inside and you're like, oh my gosh, how am I gonna fill this house? Because it's really, really big. Even the bedrooms are gigantic. I mean, this house probably could have had 12 bedrooms if that's how big it is. But I decided on 6, and then, but there's plenty of extra room. So if you have a really big family, this house would be perfect for that. Or if you have a family that just has tons of like hobbies and interests and they all, you know, play music and draw and paint. I mean, this would be the house for you because you've got room for everything. All the regular things that you would expect: living room, dining room, kitchen, laundry room. There's a big office. And then that bonus room I was telling you about, I made that into like a big game room. But now you're kind of seeing the back of the house. I was trying to kind of keep that farmhouse look a little bit by using that stone fireplace. It's not ideal, but we don't really have a lot of fireplace choices in the game that can be used like on the side of the house. Most of the fireplaces that we have are the kind that just snap onto the roof. So when you want like a fireplace that actually goes on the outside of like an exterior wall, you're either gonna have to build it yourself and then just use wallpaper, or you're gonna have to use this one. That's pretty much about it. So I decided to go with this one because I like how it looks old. I think a lot of times with these sort of modern farmhouse designs, even when they're new construction, they add a lot of elements that make them look old, because that goes with like the style of the house. So anyway, and then I made that little barn in the back, kind of like a shed type barn, where I've put some well, there's a flower arranging table, and then there's also like some pots for growing plants and all kinds of like sort of like things you would find in a garage, you know, tools and boxes and crates and things like that. So I thought that was kind of cute, and it gives it more of that sort of country farmhouse type of vibe. And the pool, I just pretty much went with a standard rectangle and used some stone for the like inside. Okay, so now we are starting in the kitchen as usual, and I was inspired by the house photos that the kitchen was black and white. Well, it was mostly white, but it did have some black, and it had like dark wood floors, and so I kind of wanted to stick with that, you know, even though I couldn't really imitate it exactly. I liked the feel of the kitchen and how, you know, I feel like I do a lot of black and white kitchens, but this one is a little bit different because it's more of like a country black and white. A lot of times with modern kitchens, I'll use like spade cabinets, and it comes off very, you know, sleek. But this has definitely got more of a country vibe. These cabinets are from the Vampire Pack, and they work really nice in country kitchens, especially because the dishes that you can see through those upper cabinets are like kind of like an old-fashioned country style dish. So I don't know, it just gives me a country vibe. And then that tile, of course, Parenthood. The floors, they're gonna change later. When I got about halfway through the first floor, I ended up changing them to like a darker charcoal versus this more washed out gray. You'll see why here in a little while. But I'm just doing some under cabinet lighting and working on trying to figure out what kind of lights I'm gonna use for the room itself. I decided to go with these Parenthood mason jar lights because, again, I think it's very country, but sort of with the black and glass kind of gives it almost like a country industrial. Is that a thing? Country industrial? I'm gonna call it that. I wish we had more industrial fixtures in the game. I would love to have like just a bunch of like wrought iron lights and chandeliers with a lot of like exposed bulbs and things. I would love to have a bunch of that stuff. Maybe someday. Maybe if we get a farming expansion pack, we'll get a bunch of really cool kind of modern farmhouse fixtures. That would be so awesome. I would love that. Speaking of new expansion packs, today Maxis Monthly announced that we're getting a new expansion pack, a new game pack, and a new stuff pack, all three over the next 6 months. So I am really hyped for that. I cannot wait to have some new decor, new furniture, new wallpapers, new everything. Like I'm really excited. And I'm sure those of you who are builders are really excited too. And what we got to see even for the patch that's coming out next week looked pretty cool as well. We're getting like a new desk and a bookshelf, and there's like this cool laptop that has like the chroma keyboard with the flashy lights. I don't know, it was pretty cool. And oh, I was really excited about they had like in that freelance artist career, you can do digital paintings, but you can like prop them against the wall. I was so excited about that. That looked really cool. And there was some other new stuff. Oh, the white shelf that we've all been looking forward to that's coming as well. And like 3 new jobs. So I don't know, we're getting a bunch of stuff next week. That'll be exciting. I love new stuff. It's like, especially when you build a lot like I do, where I'm building every day, I get in these ruts where I just keep using like the same things over and over. And no matter how hard I try, I can't stop myself from doing it. So new stuff is really going to help shake things up. I can't wait to see what kind of creations everyone from the community comes up with. It's always so fun to like look at what everyone's doing. Anyway, I'm not even talking about the build. Okay, so this is the dining room, as you've probably figured out. It's a formal dining room, and it has a bar. Lots of black and white and gray because it's, you know, matching the kitchen. A lot of this stuff is just from a bunch of different packs. Like that hutch is from Cats and Dogs. That buffet is from Seasons. Those bar stools are from Get Famous. So it's just a hodgepodge of all different stuff. But with it being open with the archway, you know, I wanted to definitely carry those colors through. And then I ended up adding that stereo from Get Famous as well, because I kind of imagined maybe if you're having a dinner party and everybody comes in to have a cocktail or whatever, that maybe you'd have some music playing. I thought that looked pretty cool. And then the wine chiller and wine rack and stuff. So it's definitely got an entertaining sort of vibe in this room. I end up, like I said before, I end up changing the floor to like the darker charcoal. So this room got really dark. So actually before I uploaded it to the gallery, I changed those chairs to white. And I think that helped break up how dark it was. I love black. It's my favorite color. So to me, it never really seems like too much. But then sometimes when I'm doing the screenshots and I'm looking at it, I'm thinking, wow, this is really dark. Maybe people are not gonna like this. But anyway, I can't help myself. I love black furniture and black accents, and I don't know. It's just part of my particular taste. But I try to build, you know, things obviously of many different types of styles and designs, because I don't want people to just think the only thing I build is black and white. In fact, if you watch my last video, I did a spring house, and it was very colorful. So I can use color, but sometimes I get in the mood for black and white. So it's both. Both are gonna get hopefully equal attention, maybe leaning a little bit more towards using a lot of black. But anyway, this is the office you're seeing now, and I decided to go with those French doors instead of the arch. I had the archways there, but then it felt a little bit too open, so I added French doors. So that would definitely be a good office for like a work from home job. And then this living room, I don't know, I kind of had trouble deciding what to do with it. Again, I was sticking with a lot of black. And the other reason why I was sticking with a lot of black is because of the windows. I mean, this house, the real house, it had black windows. And so I think it would have been pretty hard to use brown furniture with black windows, at least for me. I'm not really good about mixing brown and black, and I've talked about this in other videos before, and it's just my own issue. So if I have a house like this one where the windows are black, I can't stop myself from making the furniture all like black and white and gray as well. So that's just one of my own preferences. Even that coffee table you're seeing right now with the wood inlay, I ended up getting rid of that because even that was bothering me. I don't know. I just, those two things just don't mix for me unless I'm doing a design where there's a lot of mixed woods. And I think sometimes mixed woods can be really cool and funky, and especially if you're doing like boho or I don't know, some kind of like super cool bohemian type build. I don't know. Then, you know, mixing all different kinds of woods is very cool. But I don't know, in this kind of a house, I gotta have uniformity and everything has to match. So I went with black and white and gray for this room as well. But you can look forward to the upstairs because it's super colorful. I think after I finished this floor, I was so burned out on black and white that by the time I got upstairs, I was like, okay, all these bedrooms are gonna be super, super colorful because I can't do any more black. So that'll be coming up in just a minute. But this living room has a huge TV, fireplace, plenty of places to sit. There's a lot of bookcases that I've put a ton of clutter on. So it's very homey. It's modern but homey. I think the type of family that would live here is sort of, you know, they have a lot of kids, obviously, because 6 bedrooms. So, but they also, you know, like things to be very nice. So it's a nice family home. Does that make sense? I don't know. But it's very late at night right now and I feel like I'm half asleep. But you know what I mean. It's got a sort of a sleek style, but yet a hominess to it as well. So I'm adding here a stereo for music and the console for gaming, and cluttering it up with some CDs. I sometimes think those CDs sort of look like video games. And then that little CD, Void, I think it's Void Critters or something that we got with Get Famous. I think that is so cute. So I added a lot of clutter in there. And okay, so now we're back in the office. Of course, I keep jumping around. I need to stop doing this, but I don't know how to stop. Decorating like multiple rooms at the same time. I don't know. I never realized that I did that until I started recording myself. And sure enough, here I go again in another video saying I'm apologizing for jumping from room to room. But that, I guess, is just one of my quirks. So this office, again, lots of black, especially after I changed the floor to charcoal. Then I had to go back and change this office a little bit as well because it was so dark. But there's really not much you can do with an office. I mean, there's bookcases, there's that globe is like a bar or something. I don't really understand what it is. Is it a cooler? Is it a bar? I don't know. There's alcohol inside the globe. So I thought that was kind of fitting for an office. And a couple of chairs there. So maybe if your sim has a meeting, you know, does that even happen? Do they have meetings? I don't know. It kind of looks like they could have a meeting there of some sort. Okay, so back in this gigantic living room, now I've got all these empty spaces I have to fill. I ended up using that nice big aquarium that took up a lot of space. And then in this corner, I put the easel and some paintings. I've been on this real painting kick lately. And I think it's because the sim that I'm using to do all these tests since I started this channel is a painter. So now every time I build a house, I'm like, oh, she can paint some stuff. So she added some paintings there for you guys. And we got a chess set I try to add a lot of skill building items, especially when the house is this gigantic. I mean, you really can put in as many things as you want, all the different hobbies and activities. I don't think there's anything I missed. I mean, there's pretty much every kind of game, activity, hobby, instrument. It's pretty much got it all. You can see I'm using the clutter shelf to put some things on this bookcase. Those bookcases are fun to clutter up, but sometimes if you're trying to like go quickly, which I always feel like I'm trying to do when I'm recording, I get really stressed out because I'm like, this takes time. It's very meticulous, and you kind of have to be careful, like exactly where you're placing everything. And you know, I'm constantly like moving the bookcase away and bringing it back and moving it back and forth. And so even with this sped up, I think this is like 700% or 800% or something. It still feels slow as you're watching this. That's how long it took me to do it. But I feel like maybe it's something that as I do it more and more and more, I'll get faster. But right now, it still takes quite a bit of time to fill all these little cubby holes with items, and that vase fit perfectly there. I don't think I ever used that particular vase in that season's bookcase before, so that was kind of exciting. Okay, so now you get to see the floor. So this is the floor that I ended up going with. It's very dark, but it was easier to work with than that cats and dogs floor, because even though it had like a country vibe to it, it was almost like too country to go with all the black that I was using. So I just decided to go all out and go with the dark floor. And then I just used a lot of rugs to brighten it up. But this is the master. And I don't know if you can tell in the video, but it is blue. It's a very light blue, sort of grayish blue. I had trouble in this room. I worked in that room for a long time trying to get the colors just right. And then this is the master bathroom, which is also blue and gray. Actually, it's kind of got some green in it too. Kind of a blue, green, and gray master. And that bed is from cats and dogs, and so is the dresser and the chest. Then over here on the far right side of the house is actually where the garage is for the real home. But I've decided to use that little space as the laundry room, which I had sort of mixed feelings about, because usually I like to have a laundry room closer to the kitchen. I don't know why, but usually those two rooms seem to be pretty close together. But this is like completely on the opposite side of the house of the kitchen. But there is an entrance there, so it makes for like a nice mudroom / side entrance. If there was a garage, I think that, you know, would be the way that probably the family would come in. And so, of course, lots of laundry day, all of these cabinets and that wash tub, everything you're seeing here is from laundry day. I pulled some stuff out of Debug, that spray bottle, and I also, you'll see here in a second, I used the products right there from Get Famous that your sim, like your actor sim, can sell, but it's detergent, so it matches, right? So I put that in the laundry room as well. So I think this laundry room turned out really cute. Of course, black and gray and white again. You see now why when I finished doing this first floor took me an entire day. It took forever. And so by the time I finished it, I was completely burnt out on gray. In fact, I think the next house I build is going to be super colorful. Okay, so we're on the second floor now, and at the top of the landing, there's just this huge room. And so I decided to make it a playroom because they've got a ton of kids in this family. So this room has got the dollhouse, there's the art table, a bookcase, toy box. Those are some school projects that I hung, and I hung a lot of artwork and things. So really, it's kind of an all ages playroom. I mean, there's things in there for toddlers, for kids, probably not the teens though, but the kids and the toddlers definitely can get a lot of use out of this room. And I really liked using green. I wasn't really sure how that would look on the black and white and gray, but actually I think it turned out kind of cute, and it definitely brightened up the room and made it a little more happy, I think, a little more colorful. And I just pulled out some more debug items of like arts and crafts stuff. And then I pulled out the couch from My First Pet Stuff, and that little hamburger toy box is so cute. So this room, I think, will probably end up getting a lot of use. In fact, the kids may end up playing in here more than in their rooms, even though all their bedrooms have toys as well. I kind of envision that that'll be a popular hangout. Oh, there I am adding a high chair because I always forget every single time without fail. And oh, I added a little violin there too. Okay, so now we're in the first kid's bedroom, and this is probably a girl. It's pretty feminine-ish, I guess, with the colors that I used. That bed is from Seasons. I think it's so pretty with the sort of curtains that are, you know, draped across the top. And this is like an aqua, sort of aqua and black color combo. And I was just, since this room was so gigantic, I just started pulling everything out of the catalog and just putting it in the middle of the floor just to try to kind of keep everything grouped together so I could make sure it matched before I started dispersing it out along the room. And this bedroom also has its own bathroom. And I hung some Christmas lights there and added some candles. Plenty of space in here for lots of things. Like, that's one thing about this house, because it's so big. So if you're moving your Sim family in here, you're going to be able to bring whatever they had at their previous home. You could probably bring it along because there's lots of space. I gave her an electric keyboard and a computer, and then of course all the regular, you know, dresser, chest, mirror. Oh, I also gave her a microphone and a guitar, I think also. I just had a lot of space to fill, so she was just getting everything. And a few toys and stuffed animals. Oh, and those from Parenthood, those skateboards I think are cute. And then lots of little knickknacks on the desk. And those, let's see, oh, those paper lanterns are from the kids stuff pack. I think this room is just about done. And then the bathroom I kept with the same sort of color scheme, with this sort of blue and green and aqua sort of color. Okay, now the room next door, I went with a sports theme for this one. So there's a lot of bright colors: blue, orange, yellow, red. And of course, lots of sports posters and decor and jerseys and sports equipment. And of course, a desk and a bookcase. I think this could probably even be for a teen or a child, either one. I guess it is a little bit youthful, so maybe more a kid than a teen. With these big family homes, I mean, I kind of try to think of like a theme for each room, because when you're making a house that's this gigantic, you will have a really hard time filling a bunch of bedrooms if you don't have a theme first. So in between each room, you know, I turned off the recording and I just kind of sat for a minute and I thought, okay, I need to visualize this room before I start, and come up with some sort of theme or color scheme or plan. Added that trophy case with all the little trophies inside. Luckily, as you start to build more and more, your brain will sort of remember all the different decor items that go with each particular theme, because I've obviously done like a lot of sports bedrooms, so it helps to, you know, remember things that you've used before in the past, if you can even find them. There I was looking for 10 minutes trying to find that basketball picture. And this bedroom also has its own bathroom, and I kept with the sports theme again. That tub shower combo is from Parenthood with the baseball. Tile is also Parenthood. There's so many bathrooms in this house. Some of them may never even get used, but when you have this much space to work with, I think giving everyone their own bathroom is the first thing I think of to take up as much extra space as I can. And I'm using that clutter shelf again just to put some toothbrushes and soap up on the sink. Oh, then I took a break from doing bedrooms. When I have a house that has like 6, 7, 8 bedrooms, I can't do them all at once. I get too, I don't know, I get too overwhelmed or burned out or something. So I did 3 or 4 bedrooms, and then I came out here and worked on the landscaping and the little barn. That way my brain could kind of reset before I had to go back up and finish the rest of the bedrooms. But this backyard's pretty simple. The pool, of course, is kind of the main focus, and then I also added swings and the little toddler slide and monkey bars, and then there's some items in the barn for like growing vegetables and stuff, and there's a bird feeder. So there's quite a bit of outdoor, you know, items. Oh, there's a grill, of course. And then there's that kind of second little deck that goes to the laundry room on the side. If you wanted to add, I wanted to add a little basketball court area, but I didn't have room for it. But if you made the pool just a little bit smaller, you could put a basketball court back there as well. Okay, so I'm going back in now to finish these bedrooms. I was just on a mission to get this over with. This house took me, I think, a total of about 2.5 days of working, obviously not working all day, but working pretty long hours. This room, I went with a space theme, which I've done this same theme before, which helps because I kind of memorize like where all the space items are. And we actually have a lot of space items, and I think it's because, well, some of this stuff is from like the science career or like from Aliens, and different things that kind of all tie into outer space. I even thought this would be a really cool bedroom if you have an alien child. If you play with aliens. I actually have some families with alien kids or just like alien families in my main save file. So I was kind of thinking that maybe this is, you know, they have like one adopted alien child or something, which would be kind of cool. So I put a ton of these outer space posters, and I added that lava lamp too, and then of course all the school projects for like the solar system and the rocket ship and the robots, and I just went all out with outer space. And then that light from the ceiling is also the solar system, so that's pretty cool. and then there's like a geode type thing on the dresser that's like an alien rock or something. And I actually added an alien birth certificate on the wall as well. So I was going all out with the space theme. And I think purple and black is pretty cool. That was one nice thing, at least with the black windows, I knew certain themes like this purple and black would be perfect. And I'm just finishing up a little bit of decor in here. Oh, and I ended up giving her that Void Critter gaming set because it's so gigantic that I usually don't have room for it in a bedroom, but with these huge bedrooms, I was pulling out everything. Okay, so the room next door here is a toddler bedroom. I did 2 toddler bedrooms in this house, one that's a little more for a boy and one that's more for a girl. So this one has the dinosaurs with lots of blue and black, and there's trains. I actually did a bedroom, I think it was in my house called the Arizona. It was either in the Arizona or maybe it was in Terrible Twos. I can't remember. But one of my other houses, I did a train theme, and I had all the trains like mounted on the wall. I had so many comments from people asking me where I got the trains. So there are trains in the catalog. You just have to go into the kids sort, and I think it's under what's it under? Decorations? Whatever that first category is, it's under that one. And with the black windows, again, I'm tying in the black, so I've got the curtains have got black, and the toy chest has got black, and the bookcase has black, and the panda bear chair. And that stripe with the dinosaurs almost looks black. I think it's actually blue though, but it's pretty close. It's a dark, like navy blue. And there's those trains, and there's a dollhouse in here, and quite a few toys. It's just funny because this toddler room has all these toys, and literally right next to the room is the huge playroom. So these kids are so spoiled, it's unbelievable. But at least it helps take up a lot of space. And just adding the toddler tablet and some toddler books. Okay, so this is the last bedroom. Hooray! This is the toddler girls' room. And this was so hard to do with a black floor. The struggle, I'm telling you, to try to come up with some kind of rug. So I ended up adding that fluffy white rug because at least it kind of broke up the black somewhat. And a lot of white furniture. With those black windows and doors, this is probably my least favorite room in this house, because normally when I would do a toddler girl bedroom that's pink and white, it would not have black windows and black doors. So that was a little bit odd, but I don't know, I think it's still okay. And of course a bookcase, lots of toys, toddler blocks and toddler tablet, etc. And we're coming here to the end. Once again, I've cut out pretty much all the landscaping. Nothing really exciting, just a lot of bushes and trees and flowers around the front. I just want to tell you guys about an idea that I had. So I'm getting really close to 500 subscribers. So yay, I'm really excited about that. I think I'm going to do my first giveaway coming up pretty soon as like a celebration of 500 subscribers. So stay tuned for that. It'll probably be a Twitter thing. And I'll give you more information in my next video. So remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more builds. And I really appreciate your support, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.